Today I would like to discuss something based on Pali text, Anguttara Nikaya, gradual sayings. In one of the short discourses, the Buddha has mentioned about himself. Especially he has mentioned what kind of thought encourage or given him the idea of renouncing the world. What kind of thought made him to renounce the world, practice and become the Buddha. In that discourse we can learn something about ourselves also, a characteristic common to all ordinary people. When Buddha was living as a Bodhisattva, Gautama Bodhisattva, if not we can say Siddhartha Bodhisattva, we can still say he was an ordinary person. So that ordinary person decided to give up everything, and in the end he attained enlightenment, he became the Buddha. So certain thoughts, certain understanding made him renounce the world. That's what he wanted to tell there. There the Buddha talk about threefold pride. The Buddha said when he was a Bodhisattva, that means Gautama, when he was Gautama Bodhisattva, he had threefold pride. He was the Bodhisattva, he had practiced virtues in many past lives, even that he was not perfect. So he had some defilements. Especially he said, he had threefold pride. This is important for us to understand also, because if we can go into our thoughts and see, we also can see this threefold pride. Pride in Buddhist teaching or Pali language means mana, M-A-N-A, mana. Mana is pride, but mana has other meanings, but also related to pride. You know, we have scales when we want to weigh something, when we want to see the weight of something, we use the scale. When we want to buy, let us say, some vegetables, we put in one side, the other side we put, what do you call that, weight, then compare. That is how we come to a decision, what is the weight of vegetables we want to buy. So, mana, that scale is called mana also. Why? We also try to scale ourselves with other people, compare with other people. A very healthy person think, oh, I am very healthy. So and so is not that healthy. So and so is not a healthy person. I am a very healthy person. Sometimes we have that kind of thoughts in our mind, even we are not, although we are not aware of that, we have such thoughts. When a young person, you may think I am telling this as imagination. No, it is in the Dhamma, and it is true also. When a person is young, he think, I am very young. So and so is not so young, or so and so is old. So I am young, I am stronger. Like this people think. There is a comparison. Then about the strength also. When a person is very strong, he has a kind of pride because of the strength. When a person has some wealth, based on the wealth, sometimes they develop a kind of mana or pride because they do comparison. So because of wealth, one can have mana or pride. Because of strength, one can have mana or pride. Then because of good health also, when we are very healthy, we are quite proud. Some people are very happy. There is nothing wrong with it in a way. We look at them and say, "Oh, you look very good. You look very healthy." Actually, it is a good thing to say. So when somebody says that, we feel happy. But behind that, sometimes there is a very slight mana or pride. Because of the health, we feel proud. We have the pride. So, like this, many things in our life can make us proud. So in this sutra I mentioned in Anguttara Nikaya, or gradual sayings, Buddha has mentioned about 3 types of pride. Because of 3 reasons he had some pride. First pride he mentioned was pride due to his position. He was telling, he addressed monks and said, "Monks, when I was young and live in the palace, leading a royal life, I had 3 palaces. For 3 seasons. For summer season, I had 1 palace. Winter season, I had another palace. Then, what is the other season you call? Autumn can say that. Autumn season, I had another palace. So, when season changes, I change my residence to different those palaces. And I had people to carry for me or behind me to carry white umbrellas, white ceremonial umbrellas for me. Wherever I go, somebody stand behind and carried a white ceremonial umbrella with very wonderful decorations. Then in some seasons, I never came down from upstairs of my palaces. When I live in upstairs of my palaces, everything was provided to me. There were young, very pretty ladies around me to look after me, to attend to me. I led that kind of life. Then he said, all my clothings were from Benares. Until today, Benares is very famous for certain kind of clothings made of very high quality silk, and clothings made of some silver work and gold and thread work. Benares materials are very famous even today. So the Buddha said, all my clothings were from Benares. Even my shoes, decorated from iron, the golden threads and silver threads, they were done in Benares. So I led such a comfortable life, wonderful life. So I had some pride, because I got so much like this. Then when I say that, I remember Hindi cinema and song also, but I don't know how to sing. So I don't want to sing the song, but very famous actor. Now he died quite long ago. He lived. The English name for that film is Vagabond. Vagabond. So he was singing a song. He said, my hat is from Russia. My dress is from England. My shoes from Paris. Like this, he say everything is important, but my heart is Indian. It's an Indian film, Indian man. When you are wearing many valuable things, you may think this is from England, this is from Paris, this is from States, this is from Russia, like that. So when we say that, if we have that kind of thoughts, we lost our heart. We hardly think we are from which country. But this man tried to remember, never forgot, he is from India. For Indian, thinking he is Indian is quite a happy thing. So here, Buddha also from India. So Buddha said, I had all these things imported from other places. Best things, best clothings. Then he mentioned about his turban also. Turban also done in Benares. Best turban. The most high quality turban. Turbans he used. So he said, I led such a life. Comfortable life. With everything I needed, and I had some pride. But one day, when I was thinking, all these things are not permanent for me. I have seen a person who was sick and suffering. Then I started to think of that. When I was thinking, I realized this man should be a person who was before. This man should be a person who was healthy and young, but now he got nothing. He is a very sick person. Because of sickness, he is suffering. Nothing is valid for him except health. If he can gain health, only health is valid. Whatever I have as a royal family man or as a prince are not valuable. I may get sick one day. If I get sick and become weaker like him and have to suffer as a result of health problems, all these things which I have are not valuable. So there is no reason for me to be proud or no reason for me to attach to these things. So I came to that understanding when I had seen a sick man who was suffering terribly as a result of his sickness. And I decided to live my royal life. I decided not to wait until I get sick or something happened to me. Then he said again, so that pride is because of wealth and comfort he was experiencing. He managed to overcome when he had seen somebody who was suffering due to sickness. Then he said, when he was young, he was very strong. He knew all the warfares. He had gone for training of all the warfares, practices related to the war. So he was a strong warrior. Buddha said, I was a very strong warrior. I had the ability to fight with anybody. I had ability to beat anybody in the battlefield. But when I have seen somebody who was suffering due to the old age and weak, I realized one day I may have to be like that. One day I will reach this old age, this person's age, then my ability, what I have now, will be vanished, disappear, so I will be a person weaker and weaker. By thinking in that way, I have dropped my mana or pride about young age and strength I have experienced in my young age. So I decided to give up my royal life, thinking that is not permanent. Then the Buddha mentioned to monks, when I was young, I never thought of impermanence of my life. I thought I will be able to experience happiness of young age, happiness of strength, happiness of having many material things. I always thought of that. But one day I happened to see death of a person. I happened to see a dead body. When I see it, I started to think, whatever I have, whatever the happiness I am experiencing, will come to an end like this man's death. This man has reached the death. One day I may have to face the death. So, therefore there is no need for me to have pride, thinking of what I have, what I am experiencing now. All these things, one day I have to leave all these things, and just like this dead man, I will be dead also. So, I don't see the value of my pride, thinking of experiencing all these comfort and all the facilities in my royal life. Because whether I am belong to a royal family or not, death comes to me. It is inevitable. So my pride, as a result of my royal life, I was having a pride, but because of the death, thinking of the death, I managed to give up it. So like this, looking at three aspects of life, I have given up my pride and decided to ordain, decided to renounce the world. In the end, I managed to attain enlightenment. I became the Buddha. So the Buddha addressed monks and told about his past in that way. So this mana or pride, because of young age, because of good health, because of comfort or wealth and other kind of facilities, people will develop mana. If a person is stick to that kind of mana, or if a person develop their mana as a result of those things, he will never be able to come to understand the reality of this world. So to understand the reality, mana or pride due to wealth and comfort, mana or pride due to young age and strength, mana due to long life, all these can be hindrances. Therefore, one should not be proud of wealth. It is not wealth and comfort. Wealth and comfort cannot be permanent. Then strength due to young age, also not permanent. That can be changed. Then long life, also not a permanent life. Can be long, but it is not a permanent life. After the old age, life will come to an end. Therefore, there is no need to have pride. So, these are the three types of pride. One must try to come back to think of the reality of our life and overcome three types of pride. I managed to overcome three types of pride. That's how I renounced the world. In the end, it helps me to be the Buddha or attain enlightenment. You monks also have to think in that way and overcome your mana. Mana is such a strong defilement, so the Buddha asked his disciples to overcome it, thinking of the reality. So when we pay attention to this, sometimes we may think that is only for monks, not for us. But for all of us, this is a lesson taught by the Buddha. But the important thing is we should not take this in a negative sense. Whatever we have, wealth and comfort is useless, so we should not make use of them. If we think in that way, that is very pessimistic way of thinking. When we have some wealth earned through our work or whatever the way we gain, we should appreciate it. But what the Buddha said here is wealth and comfort which we are experiencing or which we are having is not permanent. In other words, have to be realistic about the wealth and comfort which we are experiencing. Then young age. When somebody is young, strong, able to do things better, he should appreciate, he should value. But at the same time, he or she must have a realistic approach towards young age and comfort experienced due to young age. They cannot be permanent, they can be changed. So, with that realistic approach towards young age and strength, one can overcome the mana or pride due to young age. If we develop mana, blindly become proud and as a result of that, we won't be able to realize the reality. Then our age also, we should not think life is something which we have to think as a permanent thing. We can live long. We do not know how long we can live. So, what the Buddha wanted was people to think, his disciples to think, we can live long, but we do not know how long we can live. So, life is, in reality, life is not permanent. So, we should not allow to develop any mana within us as a result of age, living long or having long life. We have to see life as something not permanent. That is the reality. So that reality helps us to overcome our mana or pride. So these are the things the Buddha mentioned in that sutra. If we take it in a simplest and shortest way, pride, due to any kind of things which we have, we will develop pride if we are attached to them. If we are realistic with what we have, we will be able to control our mana or pride, so that is helpful to understand things. So, I would like to stop here.